And I did commencement speech there as well. I'm in the process of working on my second book. I've been privileged and had the honor of teaching English. I'm a professional interpreter and translator. I do faith-based counseling with different high-risk youth who are struggling with substance use, pornography, and masturbation addictions. I've helped young women get out of prostitution and suicide ideation. And I continue helping folks in my community. Because if we don't help each other, who will? And by God's grace, today I'm a full-time employee for the Massachusetts Commission for the Blind, where I'm a vocational rehab counselor. I'm able to share my story and help people that are going through visual impairments, whether they're new or they have been going through it longer than I have. So I want to challenge you, listener, audience member. I want to challenge you to remember to walk by faith and not by sight. And remember that we all have a purpose. That every time you wake up, you are given a gift of life. Cherish it. I challenge you today. Go up to your mom, go up to a loved one, your father, an uncle, an aunt, maybe someone who raised you that wasn't your biological parent. Maybe it's a step-parent. Maybe it's someone who adopted you. Your brother, maybe a cousin. But go up to someone today. Give them a hug. Tell them you love them. Tell them that you're proud of them. Because you might change somebody's life today. Somebody needs to hear that today. It might change somebody's life completely. And it might take somebody away from wanting to take their life away. My name is Dany Acosta. God bless you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dany. Thank you so much. You know, the first time I listened to your story, I just kept exclaiming. I couldn't. You know, you need to see me that day. My face, I was actually, you know, funny enough, I was preparing breakfast when I was listening to you. Then I had to abruptly stop, you know, making breakfast. Then I started listening to you. I had to sit down and digest everything you were saying. Then I had to listen to it again. And my mom came back from work that day and I had to share it with her. And she listened to it. She was, wow. You know, one thing I've learned from your story is that there is nobody God cannot change. There is nothing impossible for God to do if we trust Him. You know, your mom and your uncle kept the faith, praying for you, hoping for you, putting out the candle for you, never giving up. And today, look at where you are. I just want to say, I thank God. Thank God for where you are. Thank God for where He brought you from. And your story is very inspiring. This is why I said that you are not just an author, but you are someone special. I actually didn't mean it in an intimate way to those who are listening, but this is someone that his story would inspire you in a special way. It would tell you something different from what you've been, you know, thinking about life and about yourself. So once again, Dany, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dany.
Thank you, Faith. Thank you very much.
Yes, you know, I grew up with visual impairment. I was also, I think I was diagnosed with cataract. That was when I was 6 months old. So I've gone through a lot. And several times I've always felt like I think I'm alone. No one is suffering what I'm going through. No one is suffering what I'm suffering. No one is going what no one is passing through what no one is there are just times where you feel like you're alone in the world and you feel like, okay, what's happening? But when I listened to your story, I was like, oh, okay. I think I'm not alone. I'm not I'm not alone. Whatever I'm passing through, someone is going through something more difficult than what someone I've seen something harder than what I've seen in life. And I was like, oh, that was how I was able to, be encouraged with your story. So I would like to ask you this question, Dany. I'd like to ask you a question. You said that you got blind when that was when that's 3 years after you gave your life to Christ. Is it 3 or 2 years after you gave your life to Christ?
Yes.
When it finally dawned on you that it wasn't anything spiritual, did you ever come to that point where you would ask God, I thought I've given my life to Christ. I thought life was supposed to go well for me. I thought I thought life was supposed to. God, are you there? Do you love? Why did this happen to me? Was there ever a time you doubted God? Like you felt like, what's happening to me?
Oh, I remember. That's a very good question, Faith. Thank you. I remember being laying down in a hospital bed where they have the rails up on both sides because I was having seizures and I could have fallen off the bed. So they didn't even want me to get out of bed. And I remember I wanted to pray. I was like, you know what, man, I need to pray right now. But they won't let me off the bed. So I'm just going to turn around on my bed and I'm going to get on my knees on my bed and I'm going to pray on this bed. But I'm not going to let this hold me back. And I told the Lord, I served you. I know I'm not perfect. I know I'm a sinner, but I served you. Why did you let this happen to me after helping me get clean? Why? I've been serving you all this time and trying to bring people to church and people to your feet. When you serve God, it doesn't eliminate problems. I like to think it actually attracts challenges. But now the challenges you go through are purposeful, not purposeless. And now you're hopeful. You actually have hope. You're not hopeless where you're walking into the void of nothingness with nothing to look forward to. I realized that my blindness is a gift. I realized that it wasn't just physical. Actually, it was a very spiritual thing that was that I was going through. I remember one of my friends told me, Dany, you're the Job of our generation. You're showing us that, yes, even though we go through suffering, there's a purpose to your suffering. There's a purpose to why you're going to go through what you're going to go through. And I didn't know that one day I'd be on a podcast all the way from Boston to Nigeria, being able to speak to people around the world about my story. I didn't know that one day I would write a book. I didn't know that one day I would graduate with a master's degree. I didn't know any of this. I'm doing more with my life now than I did before, but I absolutely doubted. I said, Lord, what's going on? Now, I want to be very clear. When I say doubt, I don't mean doubt God. I mean doubt the challenge that I was going through. I mean doubt like, why is this happening? Why does this have to happen? Why couldn't my challenge be something else? Like, I don't know, having a really bad cold or, breaking a leg or, whatever, right? But no, it was something this drastic, but it was purposeful.
So what lifted you up during those times? The times you were down?
Yeah, I remember at the time, friends visiting me from church. All the people that I went to, go to Target with or do other dumb things with, other people that I would drink with and all that stuff. Even the gang members that I used to hang out with. None of them visited me. But my church family did. My pastors did. Prayer helped me a lot. Actually, I remember being in the hospitals, and I would start evangelizing my doctors, my nurses. I remember in one occasion, this was before they took out my eyes. In one occasion, they wanted to take out my right eye. And I told the doctor, no, I don't care how much pain I have to go through. I'm not taking out my eyes. He said, okay. Walked away. The next day, a nurse comes in and tells me, Dany, the doctor that was here last night wants to talk to you in private. They literally put me on a rolling bed, like a gurney, and they take me to another room where he's in. They close the door. He sits by my bed and he starts crying. And I ask him, is everything okay, doctor? He holds my hand and he says, Dany, I need to tell you something. When I went through medical school, I walked away from God. I walked away from my relationship with the Lord. But after seeing your faith today of trusting God that you'll get your sight back, when I'm trying to take out your eyes, I don't know how else to explain it but tell you thank you, because you're helping me restore my faith in God again. That helped me stay strong. That helped me keep going, no matter the pain I was going through. And yes, I did end up having both of my eyes taken away, but it was for safety reasons, because what was happening in my eyes was going to start happening in my brain, which was what caused the stroke and the seizures to begin with. So it was for health reasons, but never for faith reasons.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, Dany, I'm so sorry I'm speaking slowly right now, but because that's the story you gave is actually, it's an emotional one. Yeah. So I'm trying here to actually hold back. But okay, so let's talk a little about your book. You said you give out the royalties to your book. When someone buys your book, you don't use any of them. And Dany, I would like to invite you some other time, because we are almost out of time now. So I'd like to invite you some other time to talk specifically about your book, both the one you've written and the one you're currently working on. The one you've published and the one you're currently working on. But before then, where can people find your book?
Absolutely. Thank you, Faith. If you guys go to www.danyacosta.com, and that's DANYACOSTA, danyacosta.com. Again, Dany, DANY, one N, DANY, Acosta, ACOSTA.com. You can find all of my social media and my books. It's available on Amazon. It's an audiobook on my website, but it's also available for those of you that are registered with BARD, with the BARD application. It's also available there for all of our friends that are visually impaired that are registered with the BARD app.
Okay, thank you so much, Dany. I read your audio. I listened to your audiobook rather, and I was really, really taken. The book really, it was very, very wonderful. It was just perfect. I mean, Blindly Painting Words of Love is just the perfect title for that poem. You really did well. And I'd like to say that anyone who is having any doubt should, check out this book, and you will see that, I'm probably understating, how good this book is, but you can check it out yourself. And when you're done reading, I'd like to encourage everyone to get this book, read it, or you can get the audio version, listen to it. Then, anyhow, you would be helping not Dany Acosta now, but you would be helping the families, the low-income families that he's supporting with his royalties, with the royalties gotten from the book sales. So, Dany, if anyone wants to reach out to you, could they do that through your website, or you have other mediums?
Yeah, they can reach out to me through my website. All my social media, my email, and all my contact info is on danyacosta.com. So feel free to reach out right there. And send me a message, whether it's about this episode, or maybe you have questions about the book, or maybe you just need prayer. Maybe you need someone to talk to, or maybe you need me to talk to maybe a brother or a sister you have that's going